Good morning, everyone, and happy Wednesday. Give a minute for people to arrive. It always takes me a minute to set up anyway. Don't see anyone yet. Oh, there's one person. There we go. Itchy nose. How's everyone doing today? How are you doing this morning? Early afternoon, whatever you choose to call it. Hello. I think you're always my first person here. You're very prompt. So it is Music Week. We are continuing with Music Week. My day is good. I've just been working this morning, so I'm taking a break to draw. So yes, continuing Music Week, we did our page of instruments yesterday, which was fun. I did create that topic of coloring pages. So for those of you that are just looking for something to color, we now have a whole section of 2 different things. So we at least once a week, if not twice a week, I will create coloring pages for the kids or adults who don't necessarily want to draw, but they still want to be involved and want to color. And remember, you can still share those. So if you're just coloring, you can still share the artwork. Coloring is also creating art. You don't have to be drawing the original. Good morning, Linda. So we are, we're on Music Week. I told you guys we were going to do something Muppets related. And I was trying to think of a way to really do kind of the Muppets band, but it would have been insane, just way too much to do. So I just picked my favorite Muppet, my favorite band member, and probably the more popular band member, and that is Animal. If you're asking where the coloring page is at, in the Facebook group, there is a section called Popular Topics or Topics. Sometimes there's these little gray bubbles right below the header, and you kind of have to scroll them left to right to see all of them. But you're looking for the one that says Topics, and then in that there is one that says Coloring Pages. And so you click on that, and that's where you find them. So back to today. So we are doing Animal. He's kind of my favorite within the Muppets band. He was also just in the Muppets a lot. Even when they weren't showing the band, you often saw Animal. This drawing, it is a little bit more complicated than some. It's not any harder than other things we've done, but there's definitely a lot of steps, and there's you kind of have to figure out your size so you don't run out of room for Animal's head or his arms. There's kind of a lot going on. So if you are finding that you're very frustrated while you're doing this drawing, or that I'm going too fast, then it might be better for you to watch it when it's finished, and then you can pause it when you need to. So always remember that's an option. It's fun to be here live. You can hang out while we're live and leave comments and whatnot, but if you're finding yourself frustrated with the drawing, then definitely come back when you can pause it. So let me flip it around and I'll show you guys the drawing. If you're on Instagram, you already saw it. Like I said, if you follow me on Instagram, a lot of times you're going to get special previews and little bonus information that I don't always share here. So here we go. So here is Animal. I put him in the drum. He's busting out of the drum. He's, he's crazy. He's an animal. He's a beast. Just really trying to kind of capture his essence there. He's got his drumsticks in his hand. He's ready to play. So when you're drawing this, you are going to, again, you need to make sure you're giving yourself room when you draw the drum, which is where we're going to start. We're going to do the drum first, and then make sure you have room for animal, okay? Like you could always cut his body shorter. You could have him only this much of his body coming out if you need that extra space. You also need space for his arms. You could turn your page horizontally, but then I think you're also going to fight the height. So while you'll have all this extra room for arms, you might have trouble with the height. So just, do your best. Again, you can always cut body size down, but you're going to have to work with the page. And who knows, I could start drawing and I could make not enough room. And then you know what we do? We erase and we fix it. That's the beauty of the eraser. This is not something I would teach you straight into pen. Tomorrow will be our straight to pen drawing. I know I told you we're going to do that at least once a week. So tomorrow we will be doing straight to pen. We will bypass the pencil. So let's get started on animal. So as I said, we are going to start with the drum for animal. So I'm going to put my drum on like the bottom half of my page. And while yesterday when I drew it, I gave some room here, I'm not going to leave as much room because I really want to make sure that I'm not cramping myself, that I'm not running out of space for his upper half. So I'm going to start with an oval in this lower half of my page. And this is what's going to end up being that top of the drum. And I always just put it on, and then I'm just kind of changing the shape a little bit till I get it to how I want it to look. Some of changing the shape might be partially making more room because I want him to look like he's busting out of the drum. Some of it is also just making it to where it's even, where both sides kind of look like they match. So you can just keep adding your lines until you get the lines you want, and then you can erase all of those little extra bits that you don't need anymore. And that's a good start for the drum top. So from this side, I'm going to come down on both sides. And then I'm going to connect that with a curved line that just kind of follows the shape of the drum. And then inside, just a smidge, I'm going to do a line that comes straight down. And on this side, same thing, inside, just a smidge, a line that comes straight down. And then I'll connect that with a curved line again that goes just a little bit out on each side. Have a line come down on both sides. And then connect those lines. And then you have your drum, the start of your drum. Now I put lines going up and down the edges. So I'm just leaving a little gap, and then I'm putting 2 lines closer together, leaving a gap, 2 lines closer together. And I'm going to do that all the way along this bottom edge and all the way along this edge right here. And it doesn't matter if it's perfect. Some might have a bigger gap than others, and that's okay. I'll do the same up here. Just kind of giving the side edge of that drum. And then along my drum, I'm going to do a zigzag. So I'm going to come down, back up, down, and back up. And then when I color, I can color those alternate colors to just, again, add a little bit of color into the page. Now I do want to show some of the back edge of the drum since we're kind of seeing dimension here. So starting down towards the bottom, but very close to the edge, I'm just going to do a curved line that runs along and follows the outside edge of the drum. And then that's just giving it some dimension, so you kind of have the back edge of the drum up here. And then you have the inside edge of the drum right here. Drum it out if you make a mistake. That's good. Okay, so once I have that, what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to do this too dark, but hopefully enough that you'll see it, I want to make sure I have room for his head. So I am just going to draw a oval shape up here on my paper. Okay, so that's going to be the start of Animal's face. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of put a guideline down, so that way I'm not going to end up building the body and then running out of room for the head. I want to build the body off of the drum and the head. So I kind of have the two most important pieces on the page. And Animal's head is going to be all fur, so this whole line is going to go away, but it just gives me a good starting point. Now at the bottom of his head, and we've done this before where we've drawn things that are furry and hairy, and we start with a straight line and then we'll add the fur in after. It's kind of what we're doing here. So down here below his head, I'm going to draw his collar. He wears a collar. So I'm going to do 2 lines coming down, 1 on each side. And I'm going to make it a pretty decent size. And then I'm going to curve a line to connect that. And that is the collar he wears on his neck. Why is the drummer never late? I don't know. Why is the drummer never late? Because he beats the clock? I have no idea. I shouldn't guess the punchlines. Now from the collar, I'm going to have a line coming out for the shirt. I'm going to do that on both sides. Oh, I got it right. Wow, that was a good guess. And then to finish off this arm, the sleeve, I'm going to curve in, which looks a little bit funny at first, but it will make more sense in a little bit. Once we do the arm, we'll add the rest of that sleeve. So just curve these in on both sides. You want them about the same size. And then you can bring this line in for his sleeve. And then I'm going to take it down to the drum for his body. And once you have that, you can go ahead and erase the drum line that goes across the inside of his body. Now let's go ahead and do his arms. So his arms, again, I want to have room here. It's okay if the drumstick comes into the face, that is fine. I just want to make sure I have room for the drumstick. So I'm going to start with the top arm, and I'm pretty much just going to curve that almost straight up. And then the other side of the arm, I'll have just a little bit inside the sleeve, and it will also curve straight up. Oh, nice, Rosie, you brought a friend. And now I'm going to put the fingers in. So I'm going to do an oval, a hot dog shape right here. Another one that builds off of that one. A third that builds off of that. And then the thumb goes, it's going to start up from the bottom of this finger, and it's going to curve into the bottom. Okay, and then you'll erase this line. And now you've given him a fist. And in that fist is the drumstick. So on this side, I'm going to do a curved a little skinny hot dog. And that will come out the other side. Again, like I said, it's okay. It's going to go into the face. And then you can do a little oval on the end of it. So there's hand and stick number 1. Now on to the next. Same type of thing. I'm just going to have the hand look a little bit different. So I'm going to curve this up. Come just a little bit above from the bottom of the sleeve and do the other side of the arm. And now for this one, I'm actually going to start drawing the drumstick. So I'm going to put that oval in. And just part of it. And I might erase some of that. I just wanted to get it started. I'm actually going to change this arm line because I had his arm getting a little too narrow right there. So from the other side of this stick, I'm going to do another line that curves around. And then I'm going to build fingers off of that. Here's one here. And then here's a third here. And so now I will actually erase some of that drumstick, and I'll put a little line right there for the finger. So the finger's kind of wrapped around. And then for this thumb, it's going to come off the bottom and curve in. And then you can finish that drumstick. You can make sure it comes all the way into the hand. I'm actually going to make it a little more narrow too, because it's a little bit too fat compared to the other side. So see, he's holding it two different ways. We're kind of seeing one more straight on and one more from the side. And then you'll just finish the drumstick on the other side. Again, it's going to go into the face, and that's okay. And then your little oval on the top. And then you can erase those lines inside. Now to finish off the sleeve, you're just going to curve this back up into the arm. So then it looks like we're looking into the inside of the shirt, and you'll do that on both sides. Sleeves kind of hanging down. Down here on the bottom, we're going to do zigzags, and you can kind of have them a bunch of different lengths and curving different ways. And this is just where he's breaking through the drum. And now for his shirt, I'm going to put 2 lines along the edge of the sleeve, 2 lines on the edge of this sleeve, this is actually a vest, so I'm going to start like this is kind of center. So I'm going to come a little bit left of center, and I'm going to have a line that comes down and curves in, and then a little right of center and have a line that comes down and curves in. And we'll do a line that follows the edge of this because there's some edging, yellow edging on his vest. And his vest is also laced up. So you're going to do 3 little circles inside of this trim, which we will color black. And you want them to be pretty even on each side so they're kind of lined up. And then I'm going to draw an X from here to here, from here to here, here to here, and here to here. So it has that laced up look. Now for the collar, I'm going to do the little spikes. So I'm going to do a little curve on the inside of the collar, and then it's going to come out into a point. I'll do one of those on each side. And then you'll end up erasing the little collar line that goes across your spike. I'll do one here that we're kind of seeing at an angle. This one will be angled down a little bit more. You could also just do silver circles to kind of give the same look. I just like them all to look a little bit pointy. And then I'll have this one coming out. Now, to start his face, we're going to start with his big round nose. So I am going to put a circle kind of right in the middle of the face. And remember, these are not your face boundary lines. We just put this here so I had room at the top and I know I have room for the face and there's going to be hair blasting out all around this. So you will have room for his face. His eyes are going to come over here. Then we're going to build eyebrows and they'll come up out of this. This was just to give us a placeholder, really. Now for his mouth, towards the end of his nose, but building off of it, you're going to do a big line coming out on each side. And then you can connect that. I'm going to do one of the little cheek hairs. It's going to cut across this the mouth we just made. So I'm going to start a little kind of wavy line that comes out to a point and goes back in. Just one for now. And I'll do the same over here. I'm going to cut it. This one's going to run into my drumstick. So I'm just going to jump my drumstick and have it come out and back in. I'll erase those little pointy corners. And then what that did is that gave me space to do the lip. So starting from that little fur, I'll do another line that just follows the edge of his mouth. So we're seeing his inner lip here. His tongue is actually back on the top. This is something that the Muppets characters often did that is kind of different than most cartoon, is that their tongues, instead of being down on the bottom, how we draw them in a lot of cartoon illustration, they are always up at the top. And often it's because they're puppets. So the way that it's mounted in their mouth, it has their tongue on the top. And we'll just do a little line. And then we'll do some teeth. So just some little triangular shapes. Some can be more pointy than others. And that's his mouth, the inside. Now his eyes build off of the nose. So this is, let's say, the center of the nose. So a little right of center, you're going to do a big curve up and then bring it into the nose. Almost like a giant gumdrop. And then repeat that on the other side. And into the nose. And then inside of those, you'll just have two circles. And we won't be doing any circles of light for this. I'm sticking with the traditional look of the Muppets, and they did not have those in their eyes. Now let's get working on this lower chin hair. So for this, I'm just going to do, again, little pointy zigzags. None of these are especially long. They'll come down into the collar. They can go different directions. And you'll just have, now he has that furry chin. And you know, all of this line is going to get erased. You don't have to do that right now. I'm actually just going to leave it. And then when I do my pen, I'll do that zigzag outline and I'll end up erasing that line there. Now, before I do the actual hair on his head, I want to do those eyebrows. So I will, hi Tammy, I just saw you come in. I wished you a happy birthday here yesterday, but I don't think you were here. I think you'd left already. So for the eyebrows, I'm going to do a line right from the corner of the eye that comes out. I'm going to do that on both sides. And then I'm just going to start zigzagging that in. And in the center, it definitely comes to almost like there's a center part. So I'm going to come down. I'm going to have these two little peaks match. So see how I made this distinct V? And then I'll zigzag back around. And now he has that eyebrow. And if you want to, you can actually just kind of erase any of this little headline you might have, any of the parts that are easy, or you can just leave it and erase it at the end. But I'll show you when I erase mine kind of what we're seeing. So we're seeing that he has the fur finished here. He has these two little pieces here. There's a big gap here, and then he has his eyebrows. So we kind of need to build off and fill in the rest of that space. So I'm going to do, building off of the one that cuts on his mouth, I'm just going to do a little bit longer V shapes. This one will come up to the drumstick and hop it. And I'm just kind of making them look more hair-like, giving a more wave to them. So now I've finished this side. See, he has all this hair now, where this side still has these empty spaces. So I'm going to do the same over here. I'm going to just kind of build off. It comes out around that eyebrow. More hair-like. And then back in. Oh, I wanted to make that one in more. And now I've done this side. And then I'll do some little pieces here in the center. And that kind of finishes off his hair. So mine's eyebrows, I'm going to just make these a little bit longer so there's not such a gap right here. I'll have the eyebrows take some of that gap, some of that room. And that is my animal. If your video cut off, it is on your side. The video, I haven't had any errors and it's still going on my end. Trying to see if I still see it on the page. Yep, and I still see it going on the page. So now I'm just going to come in with my pen and I'm going to outline all of the shapes. And so you will, if you left a lot of your face circles in, you kind of want to really pay close attention to what lines you are on top of. So you make sure that you're not going on top of lines you actually don't want in your drawing anymore. So I'm going to do all of this space first. And get a different pen. Some of my pens are starting to dry up on me. Time to order some new ones. So again, I'm just going to start with these eyebrows. And then we have this in the center. Remember to hop that drumstick if your drumstick went into your face. Thank you very much. I think most people here who aren't adults are on their parents' account. That's why I never know when you guys leave comments. Sometimes I don't know what to call you because I know the name I'm seeing is likely your mom's name or your dad's name or your grandma's name. And there. So see, now I have all of that fur and I didn't put any of that oval that I had originally drawn. So that's just something that you want to be aware of when you're doing that pen outline, because we definitely did a lot of lines in this drawing that we aren't keeping. And some of them we didn't erase. Oh, that line went down into his lip. Oh, well. So see this one, like, see that? I put the line down in his lip. I went out of the lines. But that's okay, because once I color it, you won't even see that little blip. So don't get frustrated when you make those little mistakes. We all do it. Even I do it. And you just learn to work with them. And again, coloring saves the day a lot of times. You can hide a lot when you're coloring. I often tell people too, sometimes drawings look great when they're not colored. Others, they really need to be colored to show the true full image. So always, if you're looking at your drawing and you're just thinking, gosh, I don't know about this, just keep going and color it, because a lot of times when you color it, you're going to find it makes all the difference in the world. Now these little poles, I'm going to color those black. And then I can just put those lines through them. Get all those fingers on. And that arm. So how did everybody do as far as scale? Did you guys fit all of him on the page? Did you find that you ran out of room for arms or for hands or for drumsticks? This is one of those drawings that when I did it originally yesterday, I almost didn't make enough room for his head. So sometimes I draw and then I learn as I'm drawing that, oh, I need to make sure to tell them to make room. Oh, you put Janice? Oh, I can't wait to see. I like Janice. I really almost did Janice and Floyd. Partially because not as many people. There are some people who really just know Animal. If you didn't watch the Muppets and you just know it from pictures, sometimes you only know Animal. But there were lots of other. You had Floyd and Janice and Dr. Teeth, and I think Lips is one of their names. I can't remember the last one. Muppets were one of my favorites growing up. I absolutely loved them. They had good humor, good characters, good guests. They always had fun people on. I'm a big fan. Yep, Lips. We're missing one though. There's one more band member. He was also a horn player. I can't remember what his name is. I've completely lost it. It's like Phil? Done with pen and with coloring. Goodness gracious. Speed Demon. I'm not even done with my pen. No, it's not Dr. Teeth. Bye. Have a good one. Almost done, almost done. There we go. There's my animal, and then I've got a bunch to erase today. A whole lot. His eyebrows and the inside of his mouth will definitely be colored in black. I am just going to do that in pencil. It would eat away all of my pen to do it in pen since it's such a big space. So I'll do that with pencil. And while a lot of times I save black for the very end, I'm actually going to start with it today. I'm going to get all of my black colored in. Lots of eraser, lots of pencil marks. Just remember, when you're drawing for yourself, you can always touch a lot lighter with your pencil, and then you won't see it so much when you erase. I have to draw pretty dark so you guys can see it on the video. For those of you that have been with me since the beginning, do you guys remember Baby Yoda? The camera was a weird angle. I was drawing too light. You couldn't even see what was on the page. But you know what? You stuck by me, and I learned and got better. All right. There's all of my pencil off. And let me find my black. And so I'm going to start up at the top, and I'll do all of the eyebrows. I'm not going to push too hard. I can actually go back and make it look darker with a blender pencil, so I'd rather do that than push too hard, because sometimes too, with pushing too hard, then I'm really going to risk smearing black on my page if my hand rubs up against it, because it puts so much pigment on the paper. So I'm going to color it like this for now, and then if I want to make it darker, I'll come back in with that blender pencil and kind of blend the black in. And just kind of going around those edges. So I don't accidentally color in an eyeball. So tomorrow we are going to be drawing a dance party. Tomorrow's theme is dance party. And we will do that drawing in pen. So we won't be doing any erasing on that one. So for those of you that like to practice that like to be adventurous, you can join us. Oops. Get this mouth area. And around the teeth. And I would love to play music during the dance party, but if I do, then I can't load it onto YouTube because they'll take me down for copyright. So I think for the dance party, everyone else should put on their own music. You should put on your favorite dancing music and draw with your music playing. I'll put some music on too, but it'll be pretty quiet, so you won't be able to hear it. I wish we could just rock out. But, you know, all of those rules. Now for the collar, I'm going to color that a dark gray on the actual collar part, and then I'll do the spikes a lighter gray. And again, you can turn your page all different kinds of angles. Sometimes it's easier to turn your page and change your angle in order to get to tricky spots, especially when you have so many this collar, you have all these little shapes you're going around. You're trying to go around the spikes without coloring in the spikes. You're going around his fur without coloring in his fur. So sometimes it's easier to do that from a certain angle than to just keep it straight on. So remember, you can always move your page around. And when you're done today, don't forget to share your artwork. You can post it in the group or share it with me on Instagram. I'm excited to see what changes you made. Sounds like some of you already put some of the other Muppet characters in. I mean, you could draw him much smaller and then add in other members of the band. For sure. Okay, so I'm going to come in with a red on the nose. Oh, 2 more days of school. Man, I thought everybody was out of school already. I know some of our schools got out last week, and then some were the week before. Where do you go to school? What state do you live in? Are you in California? Or are you somewhere else? Good old summer break. I'm going to do his tongue red also, but I'm just doing a different color red since they're right up next to each other. So this one's a little darker than the other one. I just didn't want them to be the same exact color, or it would just look like part of the nose. Oh, you're in Cali and Sac, and you're still in school. See, everybody has different school times. This inner edge here, the lip or inside of the mouth, is orange. And then the body and the hands. So coming into all of the fingers. Going through those edges so I can color a little bit faster. Same over here. I have one birthday today. Xavier is celebrating a birthday. So if you're here, happy birthday. I hope you do something really fun for your birthday today. If you're drawing with us, well, then you've already started. That's the only birthday today on my list. There's lots of coloring on this guy. He's a super colorful character. The coloring of this drawing is probably going to take just about as long as the drawing did itself. And I know some of you color really fast, some of you just stay for the drawing portion and leave after that, and that's okay. I know when it's coloring time, you're just kind of listening to me chit-chat, trying to give you birthdays. Oh, you're changing schools so you don't get to do your other school's fun run. Well, that's a bummer. Yeah, there's a lot of little random stuff that we missed out on this year. I know my son was pretty bummed for a bit because this was the year for Sutter's Fort, for the overnight trip to Sutter's Fort. And he didn't get to do that. Hi, Doug. All right, there's all of that. Now I'm going to come in with yellow and color the edge of the shirt and the edge of the sleeves. And you can color the clothing any color you want. I mean, you could color animal a different color if you'd like. Make him your own. It's totally up to you. Let's get this side. I'm going to get brown for those drumsticks. And then I'll get his face done, and then last but not least, the drum. Lots of coloring. What does everyone like best? Do you like the drawing part the best or the coloring part the best? What do you like? Now, when I color Animal's face, I'm actually going to add, Animal has some pink in him and red. So I'm just going to do these really rough lines of pink in just kind of certain places. It's like he had pink highlights. And his face, yes, the rest of his face will be red. So I'm just kind of giving him, again, just a little bit of pink. His face it did have pink. It had pink and red. But the pink was more of like a little accent color. The primary color was a red. Sometimes you see him colored in orange too, like more of a reddish orange. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to do all of this red, and then kind of like I did with the pink where I kind of just put rough lines, I'm going to do the same with the red. I'm going to do a little bit of like almost that like fur lines. Just to add a little bit of detail in. I think the part too that takes time with coloring of him is there's just so many shapes, so many little zigzags, and which gives you lots of edges that you're trying to stay inside of. One last little tendril of fur, of hair. And then see, I'm just going to do this, just little rough lines. Just giving a little more detail, a little more fur-like look, little dimension. Just adds a little something so it doesn't look so flat. There we go. There's my animal. And let's see, for his shirt, let's make it green today. I think it's a red. In the picture I saw of him, it's red, but there's a lot of red and orange going on. So let's switch it up. I'm going to make it a green shirt. sometimes things like clothing, especially on a character like Animal, it's not really the clothes that make him Animal. There are certain characters, I wouldn't necessarily want to change the color of their clothing because their clothing is like a part of their personality. But for someone like Animal, it's more about that face. It's more about his wild look. That collar is really like signature to his character. But, whether or not his shirt is green or red or purple or blue or whatever color you want to make it, it doesn't change anything about him. So with licensed characters, you definitely can color them any color you like, but I usually try to stick with kind of their colors, so I'm not taking away from who they are. I'm not trying to change them. I'm respecting the original artist. That has a lot to do with it. I think when you're recreating someone's art, it's important to respect their artwork and respect the decisions that they made. But, with something like the color of a shirt, you're not really doing anything there by changing it up. Sometimes it's fun to just add another element of color into your page. If you're seeing a lot of the same colors, adding something just a little bit different. And then we're just doing this drum. So I'm just going to do this border like a gray, because it's usually kind of a metal band around the top. These are like the little hinge pieces. So I'm going to color all of these in a darker gray. I'm going to leave the drum surface white. I don't want to change that. I'm actually going to sharpen my pencil as well. Sometimes it's easier to come into these little shapes when your pencil's nice and sharp. Has anyone here ever not seen the Muppets? Never seen it? Or have you all seen the Muppets? There's some good Muppets movies too. Doesn't have to be the show. And then just the same down here. I just got a quick reconnection error, so if I lost you for a minute, I should come right back. It was very fast. Oh, never seen it. Oh, you should watch it. It's very good. Or watch one of the movies. Watch like Muppets Take Manhattan or The Great Muppet Caper. I think that's the one that's my favorite. I don't know, it's, oops, where they're road tripping. Trying to find Big Bird. I think. Oh my gosh, it's been so long since I've watched it. And my memory just isn't the greatest always. But I feel like Muppets is one of those things that adults and kids can watch together, and there's something good in it for both. Those are the kind of things I like, when you like have a show that's like kids can get into, but adults will see the humor in it too. We'll see it a little bit different, but appreciated by all. The Muppets does a good job with that. Please stand by. Is that what it told you when the video disconnected? And we are almost done here. This drawing ended up long just from the coloring. Don't forget, for those that weren't here yesterday or didn't see on the page, New Song School of Music out of Elk Grove is offering Draw with Stacy members 50% off of a month of lessons. They do both in-person and virtual lessons on a whole big wide array of instruments. So if you are looking for any sort of lessons right now, check them out. There is a link on the page. I will pin it after this drawing in the announcements again. You don't have to use a code or anything like that. When you click the link, it takes you directly to the page with the code built in. And if anyone does end up signing up for a month of those half-off lessons, you are automatically entered into a drawing to win a free month of lessons. We will announce on Monday who won the free month. So check it out. Something worth giving a try. Maybe something new you can learn while you're still kind of doing some distancing, and something interesting to try. My son has been taking drum lessons for many years. He had a brief hiatus, but he's back at it. And he's been doing his virtually. He and his instructor FaceTime with each other. And you know what? It is just as efficient as it was when we used to do it with him in person. It's great. So something nice, something to look forward to. So check them out. Again, the link will be in the group page, New Song School of Music. And what color? Let's do blue. Oh, when I dropped the pen. And I just really love that these businesses, are doing this for us. I like, they're giving you an opportunity to save a little money, and then we're helping them out too, because a lot of these places did have to close during the quarantine and are trying to figure out, how to build their business back up. And I don't know, I'm just all about supporting that. So if you're interested in music and lessons, something fun to do over the summer, since we're not doing all of our summer camps and whatnot. Oh, bye. See you later. See you tomorrow. We are almost done here myself. One last little tiny bit to color in. Just like that. And bam, there is our animal. He's finished. Popping out of that drum. I'm going to write my name. my age and where I'm from. And we are done with animals. So thank you very much for sticking it out with me and drawing today. I know animal was a little more complicated. Some of you might be coming back later to draw it when it's posted in full so you can pause. And I absolutely get that. I do it myself on YouTube quite a bit. So we will be back here tomorrow at 3 o'clock for our dance party. So get your favorite dance music going, get your art supplies, and we will do our dance party drawing. Don't forget to share your art on the page or send it to me on Instagram at Draw with Stacy. Thank you so much, and I will see you all tomorrow. Happy drawing!